Extra Time TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Extra Time TV. This is Andre Sooklal, and once again, I'm not alone, making his glorious return. Kevon Campbell, how are you today?
Hi, Andre. I'm fine. Good to be back.
Yes. Kevon looking like a proper streamer slash vlogger now, folks. You know, he's back. And Kevon, of course, we're both fans of South American football. The big one is coming up, Argentina versus Brazil. Isn't it? It's a massive match. You know, this it's never boring with these two teams, especially in recent times. You know, Argentina won the Copa America in Brazil, and then the last game ended in the most bizarre fashion. You know, with police. It was crazy, straight out of a episode of Cops, I guess. But you know, it was sensational. That's how I would describe it. So you know, this particular game will be played at home for Argentina. It's not in the usual stadium, folks, but you know, a lot of people are saying, you know, okay, the talk is around Messi. But before we get into all that, Kevon, you know, the venue is an unusual. It's a different venue, and I'm going to try to pronounce it without butchering it. So Kevon could pronounce it for me. The Estadio San Juan del Bicentenario. That's pretty good, I think.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Kevon says it's perfect, so it's perfect, folks. So that's where the game will be played. So Kevon, you know, Argentina came off a 1-0 victory over your favorite team, Uruguay. It was a very difficult game. I actually thought Uruguay was going to win that game. I was actually really scared. I don't think the performance was really that great for Argentina. So based on that performance heading into this game, we'll start with Argentina first, of course. What do you think about Argentina heading into this game?
Yes, Andre. I remember the last qualifying match with Brazil and the fiasco and the training match that ended up happening on the field afterwards. So that's not going to happen this round. So it's going to have some proper rules, and we're going to play some football this round. So yes, that game against Uruguay was an odd one because Uruguay actually played pretty well, created a lot of chances. Suarez was playing well. But for Argentina, I get the impression that Coach Scaloni tried something different against Uruguay. And usually I see where that midfield three, a very workmanlike midfield three that he usually plays is like Giovanni Lo Celso, Paredes, and De Paul. Against Uruguay, he did not do that. He went with a 4-2-3-1 with La Joya, Dybala behind Lautaro, with two wingers, Di Maria, and I forget who was in the other wing. But that, to me, was the first real deviation from the norm that Coach Scaloni did, and I don't think it worked too well. But I'm interested to see what he starts with in the match against Brazil. I have a feeling that he will go back to 4-3-3. If he does that, I know Messi can play, Angelito is on form, and most likely Lautaro will start. So I feel he will go back to that 4-3-3, and things are going to be much better. And we're going to see a better performance from Albi Celeste against Brazil this round.
Yeah, you're right. And one of the things, just to build on what you're saying, I noticed with Scaloni is that he's not afraid to try different things. For example, like in the Copa America final, everybody suspected it was going to be a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, and he ended up going with a 4-4-2. And Lautaro and Messi up front. So, you know, I guess one of the things about Scaloni is that you're not really sure. I mean, you and I could guess, like I'm guessing it may be a 4-3-3 as well, but I was wrong in the final. And, you know, she seems to be wanting to try things. Argentina is in I won't say obviously the qualification is assured, but, you know, with the concerns with injury, Messi, you know, from PSG and all these other things, a lot of flags have been raised about Messi playing, but Messi being included, and he actually said that Messi is going to start. I think he may go with the 4-3-3, or maybe I don't think he'll go with the same formation. Do you think he'll go that same formation that he went with in the Copa America final? Do you think he will stick with that 4-3-3 like he said?
I think he will do 4-3-3. I think it's too big a game. I honestly don't think that their qualification is in jeopardy, but I think he will go with a 4-3-3 because, one, he wants to maintain that remarkable unbeaten record.
Yes.
So, and of all teams, Brazil, probably, in my opinion, the best team in the world right now. So I think Argentina could lose. So because of that, I think Scaloni will be tip top, and he will play his best and try his best to win this.
Yes. And, Brazil, before we get into formations and so on, they've been breezing through the qualifiers. And honestly, as you said, I think Brazil look really strong. I also think that this Brazil looks stronger than the Brazil that they were going to face in the recent qualifier that was cancelled in ridiculous fashion, and even the Copa America final. Now, even while we're recording this, I saw that Neymar may possibly be out of this game, and we know Casemiro will be out. So most likely that means guys like maybe
Fabinho.
He may come in as a replacement, the Liverpool man. And maybe for Neymar, maybe Coutinho might step in and start. But, Brazil are now qualified. So now it's easy to say, okay, well, Brazil are qualified. They're going to take it easy. But, Kevon, we know this. Brazil, Argentina, even if it's a friendly, it's always going to be there's that rivalry there. While both coaches probably know, okay, well, especially, the Brazilian coach. Do you think Brazil are going to maybe try some things, or are they going to go with their best possible lineup with the exceptions of obviously Neymar and Casemiro?
Yeah, I think they're going to go with their best lineup because it'll be their biggest test of the qualification round. And in my opinion, the talent that is in Brazil, especially on the wings and in midfield, is remarkable. And so much so that Neymar not being there, I don't see this being a big thing, because when I look at Brazil, I see next year for the World Cup, players are going to be in peak form. I'm seeing Vini Jr. as being one of the main protagonists in the World Cup, and I know he's in the squad. And one guy that really took his chances, Rafinha. He plays for Leeds United, and the thing is, he's left-footed, and I think he can play on the opposite side to Vinicius or Neymar. And this guy from Ajax, Anthony, it's just like those three and those four are the main protagonists for Brazil going forward on the wings. And whereas I would say the last World Cup, you had guys like Douglas Costa who could be hit or miss. In my opinion, these guys are much hungrier than the forward guys in the last World Cup and have more to prove and more athletic and fitter than the guys that went to the World Cup 3 years ago. 3 years ago, yeah.
I actually liked Douglas Costa for a long time. Everybody knows it's no big secret. I'm an Argentina fan, but I always thought he was great. But, as you said, he never really, he sort of kind of fizzled out. And I thought he would have been one of those greats. Brazil always produced those types of players. But, let's talk about the lineups then. So, let's start with Brazil. Who do you think with Casemiro being out? Do you think Casemiro's absence will be a big problem? Because a lot of people are arguing while, he is injured or whatever, but, he is one of the key components to keep that balance with this Brazilian team. Do you think his absence will be a significant problem in that aspect?
You know what, Andre? I think so. Reason being is that even though Fabinho and deputized for him, the Fabinho we see playing for Brazil is not the same Fabinho we see playing for Liverpool. Why? Because he has completely brought into that Jurgen Klopp mentality. So that the way Liverpool plays, it's pretty unique, and everyone has a specific role. And to me, when I've seen Fabinho play for Brazil, especially in the game against Colombia and other games, he looks as though he's not quite sure of his role, because obviously he'll be asked of doing different things to what Klopp asks him to do. And Casemiro has been that starting holding player for Brazil for a lot of years now. And I feel as though he's more comfortable playing in that role for Brazil than Fabinho. So Fabinho still has to me, get accustomed to that role, playing in different circumstances. And remember, it took a while for Tite to actually trust Fabinho and to bring him in the squad, because everyone was like, why is Fabinho not in the squad? It took a while for him to get in the squad. So I think that positionally and being able to gel well with his other teammates could be an issue. So I think in paper it may not look that way, but in practice, Fabinho is a downgrade to Casemiro in this essence. So I think that Casemiro's absence will be duly missed. Yes.
Yeah, because Casemiro is a player that I admired a lot. Like, I love those types of players, defensive midfielders and so on, who play that position. Like, Mascherano before him At one point, Mascherano was one of my undisputed favorites in that type of position. And then, obviously he retired. But, Casemiro was really a dominant force for Real Madrid. And I think, as you said, he's a key component to keep that balance the way he wants to play. He likes that 4-2-3-1 formation. So, you're right. There is a valid point that I think, the Liverpool way of playing doesn't really suit, the national team. So that's a concern. I mean, but generally, other than that, it seems as if they have everybody else. I mean, with Alisson, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, Sandro, Danilo. So who do you think in terms of Neymar's injury? Who do you think is going to step in for him? I'm guessing Coutinho, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm thinking either Vinicius or Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Vinicius came to the squad late, but Anthony has been playing really well, and Anthony is the guy that Chiche preferred in the qualifiers past. So one of the two. I think Rafinha will keep his place. I know Bobby Firmino is out, so Gabi Jesus will most likely start. I'm not the biggest fan of Jesus, but I mean, you can do a lot with. But so I think on the opposite wing will be either Anthony or Vinicius, and I think that Teacher will. I think he will edge towards Anthony, but don't be surprised if Vinicius gets to start. And in midfield, I note that Teacher has trusted Lucas Paqueta a lot.
Yeah.
And Paqueta plays for Lyon now, but many Serie A fans will know him as that failed prodigy that went to AC Milan. But I think he has grown up a lot since he left Milan. And at Lyon, he has more responsibility and he plays in a different role, because when we first saw Paqueta, we thought he was, another number 10 with silky skills, but he takes on a bit more of a workman-like role and with Lyon and with Brazil. So I think that they have found a role for him, both club and country, and they utilize him, because it matters a lot that Teacher would trust him that amount. And he scored that goal against I forgot who it was in the last game to qualify for Brazil to qualify.
Yeah.
So I think he is key, and most likely Fred may start. I mean, not the biggest fan either, but
yeah. I don't think even Brazilians are fans of Fred. Not a very well loved guy. Yeah, but so in terms of formations, we spoke about Argentina using possibly the 4-3-3. He seems to like the 4-2-3-1 formation. So do you think he'll go with that, or maybe try something different to surprise Argentina? What do you think?
Yeah, I think either 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. I'm more leaning towards a 4-3-3 with a very workman-like midfield of Fabinho, Fred and Paqueta, and up front Gabi Jesus, Rafinha, and either Vinicius or Anthony. But I think it's 4-3-3. And at the back, I mean, the two Juventus fullbacks, Danilo and Alexandro, to me, they're a bit too comfortable. I don't see them as being key World Cup winning fullbacks. Alexandro was, but to me, he has plateaued a bit. And Danilo has grown up a bit since his days at Real Madrid and Man City, but I don't think they're as explosive as could be as previous Brazilian fullbacks. And in the middle, you're looking at Marquinhos and Thiago Silva. And I mean, Thiago Silva sometimes has a mistake in him, especially with his age. But I see Marquinhos as being one of those linchpins who has been there for a while and will continue to be there and continue to be Brazil's outstanding centre back. So with the back, Marquinhos is key. But who partners him? If Chiche is looking at Thiago Silva as being his starting centre back next year's World Cup, I think that can be an issue. But Marquinhos is good.
And then, let's move along to Argentina now. So they are not also without their problems. The big conversation that everybody's talking about, whether he likes it or not, is, Leo Messi's availability for Argentina, with his apparent injuries for PSG. He hasn't played for a while, as everybody knows. And it's been reported that he's going to start the next game along with Paredes, who's also another one who's on the injury list for PSG. And it caused a lot of problems, with PSG, Leonardo, and so on, indicating that he wasn't happy with that. Some of the fans, supposedly, it's been reported that that is the case. But, Messi has, since the Copa America, he has been dealing with some little niggling injuries. He even indicated in the Copa America itself, he was actually playing in the final with a hamstring injury, I believe. And also Dybala in the last game had to come off. They didn't want to risk him getting injured further. So, they looked a little bit tired. They looked a little bit fatigued. Do you think this Argentina team right now, with Messi included, is capable of pulling off a victory? Because in my eyes, they look a little bit, like a bit of a patched up team that is kind of just going through the motions, and some individual talent got them that last one with the Di Maria goal and so on, and some great saves from Martinez. But with all those injuries and Messi, obviously when you didn't play in a while, you have to, there's a lack of sharpness there and risk for potential injury. Do you think that will be a problem for Argentina?
It can be, but the momentous occasion, I think, will bring the best out of the players, and their mentality will be 100% in it. So, on the surface, you may think so, but in practice, I don't think so. I think once those anthems are played, once Argentina sees those yellow jerseys opposite them, it will click. And I think that having a guy like Emi Martinez in goal, to me, when I saw him at Arsenal, to me, they were crazy to start Leno instead of him at Arsenal. And I saw him as a real leader and a real guy that they can depend on. And with him and with Otamendi and Romero at the back, I think they wouldn't let anything slip up. They will want to win this and be wholeheartedly in it. For Argentina, I feel like I'm not sure who he was started left back. I think Acuna started the last game, but Tagliafico could play. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
yeah,
I think there's this group of Argentine players. I think it's a very core group, and they're at a really good age. They're like mid-20s. And I'm speaking about the Correas, Joaquin Angel, Rodrigo de Paul, Paredes, Giovanni Lo Celso, Romero. All these guys are around the same age. And in my opinion, they are honest enough and they're hardworking enough that they can form a nucleus of a Argentina squad for the next 5 years. So I think that is one thing that Argentina has now that it did not have, I would say 5 years ago, 6 years ago, because I see them as being very honest pros and guys who you can trust and believe in. So I think that nucleus is what Messi likes because he can trust them. And, a sprinkling of Messi and Di Maria to that team is fantastic. I know that Lautaro hasn't been performing for Inter these days, but he is still on course to be one of the leading scorers for Argentina, and it's fantastic. So I think that's settled. We may not see Aguero for a while, but I think Lautaro can accept that burden and go forward.
Yep, due to the unfortunate incident with Aguero, Lautaro and, Joaquin Correa, and then also the injury to Alario, who looked like he was going to break in and have a regular run with the Argentine national team, and just injuries just wouldn't let him. But you're right. This is a team, when Scaloni took over, Argentina was in complete disarray. Especially after the 2018 World Cup, we all know how that went. There was a lot of problems behind the scenes. They had an okay Copa America in 2019. Brazil knocked them out, but you saw the signs there, and Messi did say that he believes in this group, and now I think people are seeing Rodrigo de Paul, Lo Celso, and those guys, Romero as well, and then Martinez. It really has a strong spine. And what I like is that this team, what everybody, stereotypically associates Argentina and Brazil with, attacking flair and so on. But, when they need to lock it down and be defensive and be solid, they can. Acuna and these guys, Tagliafico. One of the areas of weakness for Argentina for a while was the transition from that World Cup to the Copa America squad right after 2014. there was a little bit of a concern that they won't produce in wing backs. And, now you have Acuna, the young, there's Montiel on the right side. And why can't I remember his right name? Molina is also a young player that it's nice that because they have a young core that looks like by the time, barring injuries, would be a strong team. But back to this game, because I know you and I get excited about South American football. So
Yes.
it looks like both of us agreeing maybe a 4-3 unless Scaloni hits us a surprise, and that's something I think it's very. I mentioned before, unique to Scaloni. It seemed as if he's building a strong team that's very flexible tactically, and I think while you and I think it's a 4-3, who knows? We might see something we didn't expect. With the coaching staff of Aymar and Samuel and Ayala and so on. It seems like if their influence has been seen on this team. So, I think from my guess, it will probably be Lautaro. It'll pretty much be the same team. It just you switch out Dybala with Leo Messi. And I guess Guido Rodriguez will be replaced by Paredes. According to the reports I've seen on Mundo by Celeste, those guys are really on top of things, by the way. What's up, Stephen John? So I think it's going to be an interesting game. I think, both teams are comfortable. I think Argentina kind of with that international victory, they go into these games a little bit more relaxed, even like in that Uruguay game, which was very tough. Usually they come away with those games to a draw. But to be fair to Uruguay, Argentina could have lost that game. There were some moments where I thought Suarez would have put it away. That's a story for another time. So while they're not firing on all cylinders, I think they have enough to maybe pull out a draw, Kevon. What do you think?
Yeah, they can. And I think the occasion, they have to think about the occasion, and a draw can happen. And my only fear is that because Argentina's streak, I think it's at 26 games, is so good, if that opportunity comes where they can go hard for leather and go all attack to win the game, maybe Scaloni would be like, let's hold back for a bit because the streak is so good. So
yeah,
that can be the only thing. Because streaks can be like that. It can deter teams from going all out and winning. But a draw is a respectable result. And Brazil only dropped 2 points in the entire qualification process. So a draw will be a good result for Albiceleste.
Yes. So, like we spoke about the formations, the possible lineups. So, usually like we always do, this is kind of difficult with these types of teams when you have all these, world-class players. Who do you think will be the key player for Brazil in this game for them to get a result if they have to? Now, normally I would say Casemiro. If you guys look at our old videos, I'm a huge Casemiro fan. And when Kevon and I speak about anything with Real Madrid, I would always go back to Casemiro. But he's obviously not there. So, Kevon, who do you think will be the key person in for this game for Brazil?
I'm gonna go with Rafinha.
Mm-hmm.
With Rafinha, because what he has his ceiling is really high, and that's because he's very strong runner, very strong dribbler, left-footed. He offers something different to the other Brazilian attackers, and it's like this. I think he's like 24, and he only recently got his chance with Brazil. So a lot of times when young players they get a chance, it's more like they're 18 or 19. But he's at the age where, he's ready, he can take this chance. And he'll want to show that he is better than Richarlison, he's better than Anthony, Vinny Jr., Neymar. He wants to show that, and I think he can. He had a fantastic session in the last qualifying block. So I'm going to go with Rafinha.
Yes. For me, it's a difficult one because, this is a team that I think, it sounds so cliche to say this. I'm actually feeling a little like my stomach tuning a little bit by saying this because I hate cliches, but it's very difficult for me to choose somebody. But I think the performance of, I'm kind of dodging the question. I'm cheating myself because I think depending on how Fabiano performs, Fabinho, what am I saying? I'm saying the wrong thing. I'm saying Fabiano, but that's a whole other player. But
he's ancient now. He's really cool.
Yes, it's a totally different guy, folks. I don't know what was wrong with me. I probably said it before. Forgive me, folks. But this guy, I think if he could adapt and balance things off with the absence of Casemiro, and then also Neymar, for all his antics, is still a guy that people fear. I mean, when he's ready to turn it on, he can. I mean, he infuriates me with his diving and his antics. But when he has his moments, he's still a quality player. But I think with his absence, I think, that little bit of a fear factor may be missing, which is by a little bit, is just enough. But, Argentina. So, like Fabiano, I almost said Fabiano again. Oh my goodness, Kevon. Why is this guy? Whatever. That guy.
I think Luis Fabiano is haunting you.
Yes, apparently. He's haunting me.
Yeah. Well, he only played for AC Milan, so maybe that's why.
Maybe that's why I have nightmares. Oh my god, that is probably it, Kevon. We just folks. We had a breakthrough on our live YouTube show that apparently have issues with Fabiano.
Yeah,
that's scary. That's scary. But I think the performance of him in the midfield is definitely going to be important because they're going to be away from home. This is an Argentina team that there's a little pep in their step. Even when they didn't play well, they won against Uruguay. They won the Copa America. So that sort of stress and that burden they had is gone. So they're going to go in the crowds are back now, somewhat, I guess, if you want to call them crowds. So it's going to be a proper away game for them, and his performance is key. And I think usually when you have a player like Neymar, it keeps the Argentinian players on their toes a little bit more than they normally do. That's not taken away from the other Brazilians, Fabinho, Vinicius. I just said it again. That's 5 times. Vinicius Jr. and those guys. Those guys are dangerous, but Neymar adds that thing. So that's just my thing. I had to get issues apparently for my dealing with Fabiano apparently, because I keep putting him in the Brazilian lineup. So let's jump across to Argentina since clearly I have issues with that player. Let's talk about Argentina. Who do you think will be the key player for them?
Bit tougher on this side. But because Scaloni said he will play, you have to go at Messi.
Yeah.
If Messi did not play, then I will probably say a midfielder, but I have to go with Messi because he is the man and he is the guy and still very much the main person for Argentina, and the one who Argentinian public will rely on, whether it be an awesome free kick, whether it be a shot from outside the box, a great dribble. He is guaranteed to produce, and I think that he is in a good place mentally in terms of national team. And there have been many times in the past where he has not been in a good place mentally. So I think that will give him the added influence and the added impetus to really show that he can do it again and again. So it has to be Messi for me.
I agree. I mean, usually I try to be different. If Kevon says Messi, I try to go somewhere else. But it's very hard to argue that. Messi he has shown, especially in this last Copa America in recent times, that he's really comfortable with Argentina now. Before, Argentina was a bit of a burden for him, and he was at home in Barcelona. Well, obviously, he's not there anymore. But you can see the difference, and you could see the relief on his face when he plays for Argentina. It's enjoyable now. And, I think he would really be fired up for this game. Even his contract with PSG, he made sure and included a clause in there that, it accommodates Argentina. So, I don't know if he would have done that before, but then nobody expected him to leave Barcelona, which is an entirely different conversation, folks. So I think Messi, but like you said, if it was not Messi, I would probably have said, in case people saying I'm taking the easy answer out, I probably would have said maybe DePaul. I think he kind of reminds me of Fernando Gago mixed with Riquelme, minus the injuries, I guess. Not the same, but some of the characteristics. So I think like when he really clicks, it really releases the other players. But I mean, like you said, it's a tough one because I could also say that about Paredes. I could also say that about Lo Celso. So it's a tough one. So I'll revert to Messi, and my second important player will be DePaul. So that's what I think. Apparently I don't have any issues with the Argentinian players' names, no nightmares and so on. So
I think,
yeah,
I think just to say this, how we speak about like that classic Real Madrid midfield, Kroos, Casemiro, Modric, 4 years.
Yeah,
I think that we will be speaking about Paredes, Lo Celso, and DePaul for years to come.
Yeah.
As a treater.
Yep. Yeah. I really DePaul. I mean, obviously, I like Argentinian players, but he really grew on me, because that was an area of concern for me after the 2018 World Cup, and he really has grown. He's very physical. He can play. He's very all round, and those other two guys. It really is exciting. My only concern is because Paredes has just come off from an injury. It's a very critical position, but I think I could understand why Scaloni is going to start him, because Rodriguez kind of struggled a little bit in the Uruguay game. His club form, he was great for the Copa America, but it seemed as if his club form, I think he got a red card recently, may have crept into the national team because he did struggle a bit. He wasn't bad, but against maybe Brazil, who may be a bit more offensive, he may have some problems, and Paredes' experience and so on. And a lot of people critique Paredes' defensive abilities, but I think he has really shown that combined with the other two guys, it's a nice dynamic they have. So right now, we'll just head to the table real quick. So obviously Brazil are qualified. They have their 34 points. Argentina is 28 according to this table. So Brazil is qualified, and Argentina, barring a complete mathematical disaster, it looks like they're in there. So let's prediction time, Kevon. How do you think this game is going to turn out?
I'm seeing you 1-1 draw.
Yep. Same here. Simple and to the point, folks. A 1-1 draw, because I think both teams are in good places. I think they're comfortable. I think, Brazil will kind of, the pressure won't be on Brazil. It'll mostly be, if there's any motivations, it'll obviously be the rivalry. Both teams will always like a win, but I think they're also very professional players. And they may be thinking, all right, okay, we're qualified. And, I think that may just have an effect on the team. I may be wrong. I'm not saying that game between those teams will be diminished, but I think it will have a minute thing like Messi. Although I have never seen Messi come off, but I think, like players like Messi and Paredes, even Di Maria, depending on the game, if the game is like maybe in the 75th minute and it's 1-1, I think everybody will be like, okay. And I think Brazil will be okay going to Argentina and getting a 1-1. And, that's fine. Especially what happened in the last time with the training match and the security and the police and the Copa America final. And, I think they would like to avoid a loss to their arch rivals. So, but we could be wrong, folks. You can let us know what you think in the comment section below. We could be speaking absolute bananas. And, maybe they just go for the win and they're completely nuts because there's nothing to lose. Who knows? Who knows what
someone like Richarlison may play, and he always gets angry, and everything turns into a complete chaos. So.
Yes, and post angry tweets after the game and make fun of people because who knows? There's a lot of little fiery aspects because it's an amazing game, folks. Let's be honest. Whether you like these two teams or not, I think the majority of the footballing world stops to watch this game. I already got messages from a lot of people who are asking me my thoughts on this game. Thomas Rongan, what's up, Thomas? And you know what, Kevon? We'll try to see if we get Thomas for a reaction after this game. Would love to hear his thoughts on that. So, folks, Kevon and I have predicted it's going to be a draw. We told you our tactics and so on. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share. Check out our stream. We've been doing a lot of streams before games with the PS5 on FIFA 22 behind here. The streams have been amazing, folks. Like, I have been surprised about the response from the streams. Kevon, these streams have been insane. The viewership of that is insane. So we'll probably do some sims, and they're usually pretty accurate, Kevon. So we'll do a sim and see if it predicts the outcome, and if it's close to the game, then maybe the FIFA 22 AI is onto something, Kevon. Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
With the answer.
Yes. So folks, in case you're wondering, Kevon is in Barbados. Are you in Barbados, Kevon? You never know where Kevon is right now. Are you in Barbados?
I am. As of today, I am. Yeah.
So folks,
it could change tomorrow. No, but I'm in Barbados, yes.
Yes. There are many lies. I mean, I'm looking like a Bond villain, and, he's an agent, so who knows? Who knows? But, folks, like that viral rubbish, the island boy, we are from the Caribbean, and we're representing it now because Kevon is in Barbados, I'm in Trinidad and Tobago. We're both Trinis, and, it's we try to bring a Caribbean perspective to our global audience. And, we have people all over the world, Kevon, so thank you all for supporting us. We continue to try to do new things. The channel has been growing since Kevon and I started with our little mini phone and so on. So I could actually hear the little violins and a little sentimental tear coming down here. Kevon is hiding it with a Zoom camera, but I'm seeing it. So, folks, it's been an absolute pleasure. Let us know what you think about this game. We'll definitely be responding and reacting after this game because this is the big one, folks. Argentina versus Brazil. Don't miss it. It's going to be great. And once again, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, everyone, for more episodes with Shaka Hislop, be sure to head over to our YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more updates, interviews, and content.